Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm from Ukraine, and I have decided I will vlog daily since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos I try to update you on important real life situation in my country, and of course I'm always glad to react to some important global events like a criminal warrant to arrest Putin and Lvova-Belova. If you're new to my channel, go check some of the videos and subscribe if you like them, because I believe the world needs to know more about Ukraine and the world needs to know more about the criminal Maria Lvova-Belova. Yesterday I did not introduce you to her. I needed to do some research myself, and now I am ready to tell you more, as this person is the impersonment, if it's possible to say so, of Russian genocide against Ukraine. Now, International Criminal Court in The Hague calls it criminal war crimes, but actually in future it can be turned into genocide, because things that they committed and continue doing in Ukraine actually qualified for genocide, and especially the acts with children. So Maria Lvova-Belova is Russian children's ombudsman. It already sounds as like two things that are controversial by itself. She is 38 years old, married to a priest. She has 5 children to whom she gave birth by herself, and also some adopted children, and she takes specific care of some children with disabilities. And she is extremely active on Russian social media and TV channels. She works as an ombudsman since the start of this war, and for her active work in deportation of Ukrainian children, she received lots of benefits from Vladimir Putin, because perhaps not everyone would agree to do the things she did to Ukraine and our children. That's why many of her relatives during this year appeared on various important positions within Russian government, and she was often on TV and other things. By the way, the fact that she was often on TV actually led to this arrest warrant, because for a international criminal court, sometimes it's really difficult to find evidence that the president is responsible for some crimes committed on the battlefield, and typically they try to demonstrate that, like, it was, even if something went wrong, it was the decision of soldiers, generals, but not Putin himself. And here, because of a couple of the interviews where he spoke to Maria Lvova-Belova, it was not difficult for the court to prove that he knows, he likes, he supports, and he inspires deportation of Ukrainian children from occupied territories. So in one of her interviews, it seems to me in October, she was talking to Putin, and she was telling her story that she also adopted one boy from Mariupol because she liked him a lot. And then on that interview, she mentioned that not all children whom they evacuate, that's how they call it, whom they evacuate from temporarily occupied territories in Ukraine, not all of them like the idea of moving to Russia. Many of them were disappointed during the first weeks of their stay, continued singing Ukrainian anthem, saying bad things about Putin and Russia, and shouting Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine. But after these children were introduced to their Russian families, their new Russian families, they quickly integrated and now speak well about Russia. Can you imagine the depths of this tragedy? Small, innocent children who cannot protect themselves, know that they love their country, taken away from their parents, taken away from their native land, they continue singing national anthem, and that is in the 21st century. They continue singing national anthem in the faces of their enemies, and they are, as they call it, softly introduced into Russian society. No, they are deported, and they are Russified, artificially Russified. Also, in a number of her interviews, she was trying to persuade that all the children whom they evacuate from the territory of Ukraine are only children from the orphanages, which is also not right, because these are Ukrainian children who were living normally in the orphanages until they started bombing schools, orphanages, hospitals, and those cities from which they evacuate. But later she started talking about lots of children whom they found in the cellars, bomb shelters of occupied cities. So they don't know anything about the children's parents, or sometimes they know it really well, or sometimes they pretend that they will take children to a resort or something. But in the majority of cases, these are stolen Ukrainian children who lost connection to their families, ruined lives, not like of one person, but of dozens of persons within one family. And there are hundreds and thousands of such children, hundreds and thousands of children that Russia stole from Ukraine, deported to the territory of Russian Federation, started their soft integration into Russian families, even though they have Ukrainian families, started Russifying them, persuading that singing Ukrainian anthem or saying Slava Ukraini perhaps is a Nazi stuff, as they do, and making these children Russians, making these children, militarizing them, using them on military parades and pro-Putin demonstration, which is total Nazism. And I don't know, like, why were they stupid enough to speak on TV about that? Well, perhaps Russia got used that it is often unpunished, and they were not afraid spreading this information. But as soon as the order of the International Criminal Court appeared, lots of these interviews disappeared from official channels and web pages, including from Lvova-Belova pages. But it is too late, because of course Ukrainians and our allies who work in the sphere of criminal war managed to record them, save them, and they are already in The Hague. So actually, this deportation of Ukrainian children, stealing of our future, is one of the acts of genocide described in the United Nations documents. That's why it is extremely important to remember that what Russia does here is not demilitarization or denazification. It is genocide of Ukrainian people and genocide of Ukrainian children by their forced deportation and their forced adoption. And also, in general, it is approximately a couple of 100,000 of children. And I think that this decision of the International Criminal Court in Hague is unique, and we're very grateful for that. Unique, first of all, because it was decided so. This warrant was given during hot war, not after the victory of Ukraine, but in the process of war. It was against the acting head of the state, and this may help us return these children in future, because with all the knowledge, skills, and attention of international criminal authorities, maybe it will be easier to trace these children and to return them back to Ukraine and to their Ukrainian families. But I cannot imagine how people can commit such crimes. When I've listened to her interview where she says, like, at the beginning they did not like Russia and continued singing Ukrainian anthem and saying bad things about Putin, I thought, like, how cool these children are, and how awful these people are. I mean, Putin and Lvova-Belova and many people like her. And let me know what you think. Let me know, do you believe this is an act of a genocide? I know there are lots of, it's funny to say, requirements to the idea of genocide, but sadly enough, Russia fulfills them in Ukraine. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for celebrating with me this decision in The Hague. I do understand this is a long process, but this is a start of a very important process. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons, and most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine in this battle we have to win. And if you subscribe to my channel, you will witness that victory. I hope we will witness, and we will make it together. Slava Ukraini!